in New Zealand. Yes, I am home. Well, excuse me. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2290. I'm home. This is my room for the next however long I am here, but I have to show you the view out the window. Look at this. My mum's a gardener. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? And this red thing over here, that red sculpture thingy, that's called Sassy Red. And when it gets windy, she spins. So that's the view out my window. Isn't that gorgeous? My mum's a great gardener. You should see the other gardens. They look fantastic. But yes, I'm home. There's so much to catch you guys up on. So last night I did a very brief one from on the airplane to let you know we're on the airplane. We're leaving. Here I go. But I have to tell you, security, nothing went according to plan. Absolutely nothing. I had times worked out for different things that got blown out of the water. I had to scramble around to see people. I got to see my brother and sister-in-law who were unable to go to the wedding in Denver. So I got to catch up with them and see all the alterations on their house. And then in their driveway, my friend Casey came over and we got to say a quick hi bye, take a picture, have a hug, and that was it, basically. So I got to do that. Then I went to CarMax and sold the car, and they took me to the Sheraton Gateway, which is where I was meeting a few friends and that wanted to come over. Unfortunately, because of how late it went at CarMax, everybody had left. They had come, gone, left. So I was like bummed in a way that it happened that way. But I ended up having a really good dinner there in their restaurant, and then I caught the shuttle over to the airport. Got a luggage cart, got it all stacked up there, and went inside. And because even though I was economy, but because I had upgraded in the economy world, I got priority booking, I got priority everything. And so I went into the priority line. They took all my bags. Everything was under 30 kilos. So 30 kilos was the limit, which is 66 pounds. And of course, at the airport, they weighed in kilos. And my heaviest two bags were 26 kilos. And my other two were 21 and 22, I think they were. And then she weighed my carry-on bag, my little one to go up in the thing, because she says that one going, and she says, now, so you've got two carry-ons. I says, yep. I said, this one's going up in the cabinet, and the one that's on my back will go under the seat in front of me. So she said, I need to weigh the one that's going to go up into the lockers up top. It came in at 8.1 kilos, and the limit was 7 kilos. But she stuck the sticker on it anyway, and I went on my way and put a sticker on my one on the backpack to say that it was approved, and went up to security. And there was this guy in front of me from China, and a young guy in his 20s, and very, very chatty guy, very, very chatty. He was happy to say that, he was from China and all that. And I said, so if I went to China, I said, China is so huge. What are some of the highlights if I go to China and I only have a certain amount of time, what are some of the highlights I should go and see and do? And he was like, just go to Beijing. He says, just go to Beijing. I said, oh, why? And he says, because everybody's friendly there. The food's really good. If you're into food, there's lots of different types of food around. And he basically and so this is as we're going through security. I'm following him through security, and we're just chit-chatting the whole way through. It made it really nice and quick and simple to get through. Got through security. Then then I had to walk to my gate. And let me tell you, that was a walk. It seemed to go on for miles and miles and miles. They had a couple of the people mover things there at the beginning, but nothing after that. And I got to one point and it said that my gate was like a 15 to 20 minute walk. I'm like, what? I still got another, and I'd already walked like 10 minutes at this point. I had another 15 to 20 minutes to walk. So then I get to this point where I have to then go down this very steep escalator, which probably went down about 3 levels. And then I had to walk for miles again. And then I had to go up 3 separate escalators to get to the level where I needed to be, where my gate was. And there was a bookstore that I worked out where the bookstore was. As I walked past, but I thought I've got to find the gate first. And then there was the first gate and then my gate. And then across the way next to the gate opposite was where the restrooms were. So I was like, okay. So I went in and got my book, James Patterson, the number one lawyer. It's starting off really good. How much have I read? You can see from my bookmark, not a lot. My body decided, after all the stress that I've been in over the last few months, especially with it building up as we've been getting everything cleaned up and everything else, that it needed more sleep than it did reading. So, But I will tell you this, we were on, I don't even know what type of aircraft I was on. It was a big one. We were flying from LAX down to Nandi in Fiji, and they had, when we got there, they had pillows and blankets on every seat. Now, the blankets were made from bamboo. And what they do with the blankets is once they retire them from the air, when they can no longer use them on the aircraft, they donate them to local communities that can use the blankets. And I thought, this is really cool. So their whole thing, Fiji Airways, has become more about sustainability than it was when I flew it back in 2018 and 2019 in the December, January. So that was really cool. And then they had these pillows that were about this. And you think of airline pillows, these little flat things, these were not flat. They were not flat at all. They were about this long, about this height, and they were thick. They were thick. I normally use, it's only because it's within reach. This is my travel pillow that I normally use, and it goes here, and then this goes up against the bulkhead, and that's how I sleep. That was too bulky for last night, but this little one that they had for us was perfect. It was perfect, and absolutely loved that little pillow and would love to have smuggled it off the plane, but I thought, no, somebody else needs to experience it. But after we had taken off and the flight crew were able to get up and walk around, they bought us hot towels in economy. And I had a good amount of leg room as well, but they bought us hot towels. I could not use my my airplane pocket thing that goes over the tray table, because the tray table is folded in half and had a catch, not the twisty down lap. And it only works with a twisty down latch. And I was like, darn it. So I kind of squished it into the seat pocket in front of me. And I had a little mess going on down there. I was a mess. My shoes were off. I had a bag down there that had protein bars in. They went all over the floor. I went to get up to go to the bathroom at one point. And I found something around my ankle, and it was the handle of this bag that I'd had the pocket thing sitting in. And I went and took it off, and there was my case for my earphones, for my Bluetooth earphones for my phone. I was like, oops, yeah, we kind of need that. And I looked around, and there was a protein bar sitting there as well. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm looking in the bag and go, I had 4 protein bars. There's only 1 in here. So when I got back to my seat, I found the other 3. So that was okay. But it was a really nice flight. I had a nice couple sitting next to me. And we got to Fiji and got into line in the transit line. They've changed a lot of how they do things now. So as you go through the transit line, you have to show your passport and your boarding pass for your next flight to get into the transit lounge. That's fine. But then they make you go through the screening again. And of course, I didn't think that my oils had been in the court bag thing to go through LA, and then I put them into the case. Well, my bag got pulled out because I hadn't put them back into the court bag thing. I was like, oh no. And I was desperate to go to the bathroom. And I said to the woman, I says, where are the nearest restrooms? She goes, over there. I says, you want me to get out of here and go through there and then have to go through all that again? So the guy next to her accompanied me cut me through the lines in the security thing and walked me over to where the restrooms were. Went to the bathroom, came out, and I was like, oh, how am I going to get back through again? And he was waiting off to the side for me and escorted me back through, but made me go through the metal detector again. And of course I had my cross bag, my wallet across my thing. So that had to go be screened again. But then we went over and everything had already been screened and I was good to go. So got into the transit lounge again, went and found the restrooms because I had these really cool body wipes to do a sponge bath in the stall, and I got changed. And it felt so much better to get changed out of the clothes I've been in for like 24 hours or however long it was. And then I just went out and I sat in the lounge and read a little bit. What people watched a lot. The place was packed. It was packed. And it was so noisy because you had the hum of conversations going on. And at the same time, you had the PA system going off like every 5 seconds with some announcement of something about some flight needing these people here and that people there. And you're getting offloaded and blah, 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 blah going on. It was so noisy. And I couldn't do a live from there because I couldn't even hear myself think. It was so noisy. And it was like that for a couple of hours. And then everything settled down because our flight was going to be the next one. And I still had an hour. We had like 2 hours before our flight was due to go off. So it was like, well, this is kind of nice. It's kind of peaceful and quiet and we can deal with this. Then the problem started close to the time that we were supposed to be boarding to find out that our plane had not arrived yet. The plane that goes from Nandi down to Wellington had not arrived. I was like, oh. So we asked the guy, well, how long's the delay going to be? And he goes, well, the plane just landed, so it'll be 30 to 40 minutes once it gets to the gate, and then we can start loading. Well, okay, it was actually an hour, but got on there, and I was sitting next to this woman from Fiji, an older woman from Fiji, and her grandson was on the aisle, so they had to get out, and she had trouble getting out, and I was like, oh, great. If I need to get up and go to the bathroom during the flight, we're going to have some issues with it because I was on the window seat. But as it turned out, I didn't need to go to the bathroom during the flight because I did not drink before getting about an hour before getting on the flight, and I had a cup of water with the meal. So by the time we got into Wellington, so like, yeah, I need a restroom, and they have a restroom right before you go through the customs and everything. And I had already done my arrival declaration paperwork when I got for Wellington, and because I had a New Zealand passport, I could go through the express lane. So I went through the express lane, got through that really quickly, then went over to another one where I had to do my declaration of any foods and stuff I had. Well, I had already filled that out. So the woman went to look it up and couldn't find it. So I opened up my email and found the email with the number on it. And so she just typed in the number, oh, yep, there it is. And gives me this green card with my passport and says, right, go get your bags and then go to the green line. I went, okay. So I went over to get my bags. They had free luggage carts there. So I grabbed one because I knew I was going to need it, and pulled off what I thought was my 4 bags, but the hard case one wasn't mine. It was somebody else's, but the lighting made it look purple, which is the color that mine was. And someone comes up and says, excuse me, I think you have my thing. And so we looked at the thing, went, I did have a thing. I was so apologetic. I said, I'm sorry. And then I looked up, and the thing comes out like this and does this little loop. My suitcase was on the other side of the loop. And meanwhile, this guy had seen me struggling with my bags because of quickly pulling them off. And so he helped me stack them onto my luggage cart for me, which was very, very sweet of him. And I tell you, angels appear everywhere. And then he went and got his bags. And as he's getting his bag off, my bag comes around. He goes, and he remembered that mine was purple. And he goes, is this your purple case? I went, yes, it looks like it. Let me check the luggage tag, because I have this really cool luggage tag that's got, somebody sent them to me, and it's got these sparkle in it. And so I verified that it was my case. So he put that on there and got my case and got everything loaded. And I texted my mum and dad to say that I'm just waiting for my last bag, and had no idea how long it was going to take me to walk out of this place. And so I go over to the green line, I hand over the green card and push my cart following the green line. And the dog had come along in the meantime and sniffed all over my bags and everything else as I was walking past. And they said, just keep walking. I'm like, it's hard to walk when there's a cute puppy. But this little beagle was doing his job. And so there were these doors, and I opened up the doors and walked out, and my mum and dad are standing right there, like within about 100 feet. They're right there. And it took them so much by surprise, because my sister-in-law and my brother had asked them, can you video me arriving? And they said, like, yeah, we can do that. And my sister-in-law was quickly fussing with her phone and holding it up and videotaping it. When you suddenly realized I'd come through the door, it was that quick. And by the time she kind of got it up, I don't know how much she caught. I haven't seen the videos yet. But I was hugging my mum. And then my brother came over and we had a hug, and then I hugged my dad, and I got to hug my sister-in-law. And so then the guys went off to get the cars, and Craig was telling my dad that he was going to beat him because he was just parked really close. And as it turned out, my dad came through with my brother right behind. So I picked out the 2 suitcases I wanted to bring home with me tonight that has my stuff in it. I'm trying to remember, okay, which one has my PJs in it? Which one has my clean underwear in it? Which one has my clothes in it? And so I picked out 2 of the cases, and my brother took the other 2 because we didn't have room for all 4 suitcases in the car. And we drove home, and we came home the new expressway, and it was kind of a different view of everything, and you could see where all the changes had been made and stuff. And it was good. So, some memories came back, and we were going through the Mount Victoria Tunnel, which is a tunnel that everybody goes through. But this tunnel is known for the horn honking. And most of the time, I used to live in Haitaita, and you could hear when people would start up with the horns in the tunnel. So this tunnel goes through Mount Victoria, hence the name Mount Victoria Tunnel. Somebody will just toot their horn, and then it goes for hours afterwards. Everybody just starts honking their horns back, and it just goes on for hours. It's just like people just saying hi to each other. We're about halfway through the tunnel, and it's probably about it took us 5 minutes to get there from the airport. And we look at the clock, and it was coming up at 5:20, and I landed at 4:23. So in less than an hour, I had disembarked, been through passport control, been through customs, met up with my parents. We had gotten the cars down and packed the bags and left the airport in less than an hour from landing. And I was just sort of thought, that's really cool. That it seemed longer, but when we looked at the clock, it was like less than an hour. We're going through the Mount Victoria Tunnel. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So, my head was kind of like swiveling around, looking at this and that and the other thing, and seeing things that had changed and things that were still the same and stuff like that. And oh, I'm getting told my food's ready. I love my parents. I absolutely love and adore my parents. Just for crazy things like that. So I have to go because dinner's ready now. But it's been a great flight. I am happy that I am home and back on track again. And I've got the next couple of days off before I start work again on Tuesday, my time, Monday for the US. But I'm home. I'm safe. I'm here. Everything's here with me. And we will catch you guys tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which for me will be 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Sunday, just to really mess with your minds. But go out, have a super fantastic sparkling